then they go back up again. AM 560 wants to help ease your pain at the pump. Listen each weekday afternoon at 12:30 and 5:30 for the lowest gas prices around Chicagoland. And if you see a low gas price, let us know. Just text the word gas to 312-642-5600, followed by the price and location, and we'll share it right here on AM 560. The Answer.
If you haven't switched to Pure Talk because you're not sure their coverage is every bit as reliable as Big Wireless, why not take them for a test drive? For a limited time, Pure Talk is offering any of their plans for just $15 a month for the first 3 months, including their top-tier unlimited data plan. No contracts, no commitments, just a great deal on a high-speed network with unlimited data from an American wireless company. Dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe, and let the savings begin.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/term. That's ethos.com/term. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Have you been watching gold and silver lately? Hard to ignore. Back in January of 2025, silver was under $30 an ounce, and now it's more than doubled. Again. Not bad, right? Some experts say this bull market is just getting started. Others say it's a good time to take some money off the table. Either way, whether you're buying or selling, Fox Valley Coins in Naperville is the place to go. They stock large quantities of all the major bullion coins and bars. And here's what sets them apart. Unlike places that only pay melt value, Fox Valley Coins pays more for high-grade coins and scarcer dates. That's real money left in your pocket. They also buy scrap sterling flatware, jewelry, silver-plated items, and old proof sets. And they specialize in U.S. and foreign collector and investment coins and currency, both buying and selling. Fox Valley Coins, one light north of I-88 on Route 59 at Ferry Road in Naperville. Family owned with integrity since 1981.
Have you seen those Russian floating folk dancers that look like they're gliding on air?
Impressive.
They kind of resemble the Brody table at Penny Mustard.
You're right.
And these upholstered caster dining chairs look like they're also gliding on air. Here, I'll show you.
Be careful.
Watch out!
I never was a very good dancer.
The Brody table, paired with 4 caster dining chairs, starting at $64.22 at Penny Mustard.
Now open in Algonquin.
PennyMustard.com.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free timeshare exit information kit. 800-978-1515. That's 800-978-1515.
Portions of the following show may be pre-recorded.
The following live program is sponsored by Breakthrough Ideas.
AM 560, The Answer. It's time for breaking news, expert insight, and informed commentary on what's happening in Springfield, Chicago, and beyond. Because an informed citizenry is the only way to protect our republic. It's time for The Real Story with Jeanne Ives and Amy Jacobson.
All right, happy Friday. We are going to have Free for All Friday. It's going to be the Fauci Lies edition, so gear up your questions and your comments for that. Well, that'll be at the back of the hour.
Yeah, and we'd love to hear, too, if you were one of those people who couldn't have a funeral. But George Floyd had 3 funerals. And also, too, if your loved one had to die alone. And I had a friend whose mother, they put warm water in a rubber glove and made her pretend that she was holding her daughter's hand. I mean, just the sick things we do. We'll let it all out. Free for All Friday at 11:35.
Yeah,
but
that's
now
gonna
we've
be
some
fun.
great
Yeah.
news. The Chicago Board of Education voted for a budget, Jeannie. 11-7. They passed a $10 billion budget.
The only problem is, Amy?
Yeah?
It's unbalanced, and it's knowingly unbalanced, and they're counting on $150 million in state money to balance that budget. And guess what? Chris Welch is all in to do that. Here was he just a couple days ago.
I fully support more revenue for CPS schools. This should not be happening.
Yes.
And I do think that the state of Illinois should do better. This shouldn't be happening. And I'm going to keep fighting for you. So that we can get the more revenue to get to CPS schools.
And so with your leadership role, would you be willing to be the first one of the Chicago delegation to commit to calling a special session in order to fund our schools?
Can I tell you what I just committed to the executive board?
Absolutely.
I strongly committed in the veto session to supporting a supplemental funding bill because I know we're all going to be there for veto session. I don't know if we can get the no down for a special session.
Oh my gosh, he's just the worst. That's Chris Welch, of course. He is the former head of Proviso Township High School District. He was the head of the school board, at which point they went into financial distress and had to be taken over by the state. Oh, by the way, just to set the record straight here. And his own children go to private school. So that's who he is, asking for more money from CPS. But guess what? Corey DeAngelis writing in Fox News, Chicago Public Schools stand as a monument to bureaucratic inertia and misplaced priorities, whereas vast sums of taxpayer money vanish into underutilized buildings while student outcomes plummet. He is so correct. And we're so honored to have Corey DeAngelis join us right now. Thanks so much for coming on The Real Story.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Yeah, I mean, this is the last thing that CPS needs, or actually any public school in the state of Illinois needs, is more money.
Yeah, I mean, CPS is a huge dumpster fire, and the government school system has become more of a jobs program for adults than an education initiative for kids. If you look at the data in Chicago since 2019, the number of students in the system has plummeted by about 10%, but the staffing in Chicago has jumped by about 20%. In what other industry do you lose 10% of your customers and then you go on a hiring spree? And then Chris Welch, big time hypocrite, school choice for me, but not for thee. Hypocrisy on full display. And, he's in bed with the teachers unions, obviously. The Democrat Party has become nothing more than an extension or they're hand in hand. They work with the teachers unions. All the money from CTU and the Illinois Federation of Teachers and so on, it just all goes to the Democrats. It's a money laundering operation, and that's all they care about.
The vote was 11-7. Every candidate that voted yes is backed by the mayor, backed by the CTU. We're going to hopefully change that in February. But the budget assumes that the state's just going to give them $150 million. And the money's not there. So, but here's the thing. This is Stacey Davis Gates. She shows and she admits that they do this on purpose because she wants to create a crisis.
You have to create the crisis by which the boss, the landlord, the government can no longer ignore you. And that is why the strike, the action, the coalition forces are so important, and especially now.
So is she going to get what she wants? Because with this vote that they took yesterday, those teachers that were laid off or furloughed or they get to keep their jobs now.
I hope they don't get what they want. But look, Illinois is controlled by the Democrats, who are controlled by the teachers unions, and you had Speaker Chris Welch saying as much, that they're going to proceed with bailing out Chicago, when they're going to be spending, if this is approved, over $30,000 a kid, and that has no correlation with outcomes. There's 80 public schools there without a single kid proficient in math. And as I pointed out at Fox News a couple months ago, Douglas Academy High School is 97% empty. Mm-hmm. How do you have a school that's built for over 1,000 kids, only 27 students there, 28 adults? They're spending nearly $100,000 a kid, and not a single kid's proficient in math or reading at that school. So you got empty buildings. It just illuminates the problem where, if you would shut that down and not listen to the teachers union, you could actually give more money to teachers in the classroom who are doing a better job at other places, and students would be better off.
Well, it's not only that. I found out yesterday, Marshall High School used to have 3,000 people. Guess how many kids are in there now that are enrolled for the fall? 111.
That's
insanity.
Yeah, I mean,
They were a juggernaut in sports. They don't have any sports teams because they don't even have kids.
Do you see anything this bad across the country? Because I know you have a nationwide look at what's happening in public schools.
It's pretty bad in Democrat cities, but it's not as bad as Chicago. This is the poster child for the teachers unions. And Stacey Davis Gates, I'm not sure if you guys saw, but she spoke at Randy Weingarten's convention a couple weeks ago, and she was, I got to say, the most unhinged speaker at the entire convention. And it was so bad that they posted afterwards, after the live stream, everybody else's speech, but not Stacey's for some reason, because it was so embarrassing. She was shrieking literally at the top of her lungs. I had never seen anything like it. And again, she's also a hypocrite who sends her kid to a private school after calling school choice racist a couple of years ago.
Well, if you're a union leader here, you have to have been a drama student to begin with, because it's all performative art. It doesn't have anything to do with actual, real, policies that are going to move people forward. So that's her. I mean, she is. She's just a drama queen.
There was a local journalist that was interviewing Stacey a few months ago. I forget his name, but Stacey was taken aback because she thought it was going to be a friendly interview, and he basically said, "You guys are a political operation." She said no, and he said, "Well, look at how much money you guys spend on politics." Then she pivoted and said, "Oh, well, we only spend that much on politics for the right reasons, and it's because we're trying to get good-paying jobs for black women so they don't have to have a husband." And I'm just over here like, why are you saying the quiet part out loud? This shouldn't be a jobs program. It's supposed to be about the kids. And you're going to try to destroy the nuclear family as well. You're trying to rip families apart too. It's just so crazy. Their priorities are all out of whack.
It seems like we should be able to move the needle in this state. They did go to an all-elected school board, which, quite frankly, I voted for when I was a state representative, because I'm like, hey, there's no other way than to hold it, let the voters hold these people accountable. Because you can't trust the politicians. But the voters are so captured by whatever they hear from the unions and whatever they're able to afford in terms of outreach to the voters. But it still stymies the mind. It's still very curious that people can't connect the dots themselves without being told everything that we're talking about now. Why can these parents not connect the dots? Why do they not see what's plainly in front of them?
People are so busy with their jobs, they're trying to take care of their kids, and they don't focus on all this crazy stuff. And when you ask people, how much do we spend in public schools, they typically say half of what we actually spend. So Chicago, they probably think you guys only spend, $15,000 when you're spending over twice that much. And so I think education is really important. But I want to say that I think Chicago's losing, the teachers union's losing its touch with voters, because I saw recently that they endorsed like 15 candidates in the primaries, and they lost most of the endorsed of the races.
They couldn't
that
get
they
the
endorsed
signatures. Yeah, a lot of them that are currently on the board could not get signatures to run again for the school board.
Right.
So we're trying to get, there's 20 seats. If we get 13 or 14, that's going to be huge, and that's going to send the biggest message ever to the Chicago Teachers Union.
Well, I think the biggest...
And they're underwater with polling, too. They used to have a net favorability. Now they're net negative 26% favorables, and with Chicago voters in a blue city. So hopefully that is a sign of good things to come. And it seems like Stacey and the rest of them haven't learned a dang thing. They're doubling down on stupidity and trying to use the teachers union as a political operation, and they're even using kids as political pawns with their May Day protest and using children and busing them to political rallies after indoctrinating them all day. It's totally nuts, and we're not seeing anything like it in other places as bad as we are in Chicago. But AFT, Randy Weingarten's union, took their resolution and passed it at a national level to try to use kids as political pawns. That stuff needs to stop.
Well, it's embedded in our teacher training programs where they, the culturally responsive teaching and leading standards that are actually what's taught at the university level to incoming teachers. Those standards require teachers to instruct their students on activism. It's required. And so they're trained up to do this. And I mean, yeah, we can talk about CPS all day long, but I'm telling you what, we have the same problem in, Wheaton, where I live. Home of Wheaton College. You've got as much wokeness there as you do anywhere else in CPS practically.
Yeah, I saw the Chicago Teachers Union's May Day curriculum, and I leaked it on X a few months ago. And, they were comparing Trump to a fascist dictator in the slides. They were comparing policing and prisons to slavery. I mean, it was just totally unhinged. And in one of the slides, they had an exit pass for students. In order to get out of class, you had to commit to doing something after getting all that brainwashing. So they're turning children into little activists. And yeah, the teacher training programs are turning the teachers into activists, whether they like it or not. And it's caused a lot of problems. I'd say it's great advertising for homeschooling, but I know it's really expensive, or it takes a lot of time and effort for families. So school choice needs to be part of the conversation too, to hold the unions and the district accountable. I mean, imagine if you can give families $20,000 a kid. I mean, they're spending $30,000 a kid. Why not? You could find so many better opportunities, like Stacy did with her child, and like Chris Welch did with his kids. Other families should have the same kind of choices too. And these politicians and union bosses shouldn't pull up the ladder from behind themselves.
Yeah, I just don't think that we can do enough. I mean, we have to have a massive media campaign exposing the hypocrisy and the radical ideas that are coming from the teacher union schools. And I think only then, I mean, it has to be a massive media campaign. And otherwise, I think school choice, I mean, I think this whole idea that you've got these laboratories of democracy. And so Indiana, Iowa, we're side by side. They have nearly universal school choice and universal school choice in Iowa. And I think the more people see the results and the difference, but the more that people like you are elevating the comparative outcomes, I think that's going to eventually seep down to folks, and maybe we get a change that way. But knowledge is power, and they seem to have a control of what people are hearing right now.
Yeah, and the clearest body of research, and we have so many decades of scientific studies on school choice programs, is that the public schools improve in response to competition. That takes away the main argument from the teachers union. They say it's going to destroy the public schools. That has never happened anywhere. And what's great about the neighboring states to Illinois is they've also opted in, their governors, to President Trump's nationwide school choice program. And, J.B. Pritzker hasn't said no yet, but he has until the end of December to figure that out. And some other Democrats have jumped on board, actually. Colorado's Jared Polis and New York's Kathy Hochul. So you have New York beating Illinois at opting into school choice. Something's going wrong in Illinois. It's a federal tax credit. It doesn't touch a single penny of local public school funding. I mean, the only reason to oppose this at this point is because you have Trump derangement syndrome and he has his name on it. But 31 states have already said yes, and I think all 50 will at some point. Maybe Illinois will be last. I don't know. But
do you really think he's going to change his mind? Because I don't think so. Because the teachers unions and the teachers, the Tribune did an article about a month ago saying, the teachers, which means the teachers unions all over the state, don't want it.
Yeah, what's crazy is the public schools can start their own scholarship organization, so they'll get more money if the state opts in. And if you don't, you're going to guarantee your funding from your state will go to other states that do opt in. So, anybody can donate to these scholarships, and you can get that federal tax benefit, whether your governor opts in or not. So Illinois taxpayers can do that. But if Pritzker or whoever's governor doesn't opt in, then that money could flow to scholarships to kids in Texas and Florida, states that have already opted in. So, I mean, why would you want money flowing out of your state? That's exactly why Jared Polis said that it was a, quote, no-brainer decision for him, and he said he'd be crazy not to do it, which he's right. And I think at some point you're going to end up with all 50 states participating, but in the short term right now, for sure, you have so much of this friction. And the major teachers union, NEA and AFT, Randy and Becky Pringle's union, they sent a letter to all the remaining Democrats begging them not to opt in and reminding them that school choice is not on the Democrat Party platform. They're basically threatening the governors, saying that we're going to primary you if you don't fall in line. And I don't think that's going to work in the long run, but maybe it scares some people right now.
Well, it probably scares Pritzker because he wants to run for president. But I mean, this is really good information. I did not know what the cutoff date. So he's got to make a decision by the end of December. So that means people listening to this program, you have got to get in front of your state reps and your state senators and pressure Pritzker to sign on to the tax credit scholarship at the federal government level. So
when's the
that's
deadline
good.
again? I'm sorry.
End of December.
End of
December, yeah, the end of the year, and it's solely in the hands of the governor. So, you don't need the House and Senate to pass anything. This
No.
is, so
yeah.
Colorado, Jared Polis was able to do it unilaterally. So J.B. Pritzker could do it by himself.
I think he needs the pressure, though, from other folks like the Chris Welches, and the hypocrisy needs to be pointed out to these folks.
Well, and J.B. Pritzker said he would save the Invest in Kids Act in 2022 when he was running for re-election. He answered that candidate survey saying he supported it. He said he would sign a bill if it got to his desk to save it, knowing that it would never get there. But now he can't point the finger at the legislature about saving school choice. He has no more excuses, and a lot of these Democrats, Josh Shapiro in Pennsylvania too, they're kicking the can down the road, saying, I need some more information, but all the information's out there. So he's trying to have his cake and eat it too.
Yeah. Hey, one little more point here, because you did bring up a good question. Whenever, a private school ramps up, public schools have to compete and they get better, but never in any case has a private school been so successful as to shut down a public school that you know of, correct?
No, not because of school choice.
Not because of school choice.
Like, for example, we have data from Florida on this over decades. They were at the bottom of the pack on the nation's report card before school choice. And in some of the most recent rankings, they are at the top of the pack on math and reading outcomes, even though they spend 27% less than the national average. And there's 11 academic studies out of Florida. 10 of them have positive, statistically significant effects on improving outcomes in the public school. So it's a win-win solution. It's a rising tide that lifts all boats, and the fear-mongering from the teachers' unions just falls flat because they have zero evidence to support their claim.
All right. He's Corey DeAngelis, Research Fellow at the Heritage Foundation, also Senior Fellow at Americans for Fair Treatment and Visiting Fellow at the American Institute for Economic Research. He is a fighter for parental rights, and he is the president of Educational Freedom Institute. Thank you so much for joining us on The Real Story this morning.
Thank you so much. Good talking to you guys.
Yeah. And Corey, real quick, where can we find you on the socials?
You can find me on X. It's at DeAngelis Corey. If you want to get my book, it's endorsed by Trump. It's called The Parent Revolution.
Great. Thank you so much. The Parent Revolution. Have a wonderful weekend, and thank you.
Thank you so much. Talk to you soon.
Make your voice heard. Call or text The Real Story at 312-642-5600.
Time's up. The IRS isn't waiting. They're coming for your paycheck, your bank account, even your home. You ignored the letters. You thought it would go away. It won't. If you owe more than $10,000 in back taxes, you are already in the crosshairs of the IRS. Wage garnishments, bank levies, tax liens, they're not threats. They're next. But here's the truth. You still have a chance to fight back. This is Patrick Noon with PJN Tax Solutions Group. We are a local tax resolution firm located right here in St. Charles, Illinois. Don't call some 1-800-FIRM 10 states away. We're right here. Call us now at 630-415-5296. We don't do fluff. We get results. Call us now, 630-415-5296. That number again, 630-415-5296. Or just Google, I want the IRS off my ASS.
I checked Allstate first and saved hundreds on my car insurance. Really smart. Unfortunately, I didn't check if I took the gas hose out of my car's tank. Ooh, not smart. And I drove off while still attached to pump number 3.
Yeah, checking first is smart. So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds.
Potential savings vary, subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate North American Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
The mainstream media isn't just biased. They're hiding stories from you, deliberately. Restoration News is changing that. With elite researchers and fearless writers, Restoration News is the conservative media force fighting back in the information war for America's future. Download the Restoration News mobile app today or visit restoration-news.com. That's restoration-news.com. Real stories, real truth. It's time you knew what they don't want you to know.
It's peaceful here. Quiet. But it wasn't always. Here, The past isn't confined to textbooks or museums. It's in the soil, a pulse within the earth. Here, you can walk in step with history, where others once marched towards the unknown. The past is never really behind us. It's here, under our feet. The land never forgets the stride of the weary or the reach of the hopeful. The land remembers. And so does the American Battlefield Trust, dedicated to preserving America's hallowed battlegrounds. Now, on our nation's 250th birthday, become a member so the next acre becomes the next chapter. The next chapter becomes the next lesson. Join the trust. Protect the future. Go to battlefields.org.
AM 560, The Answer.
All right, since I used to work for CPS, thank you. Okay, don't roll your eyes. Not a union member, but I still get their email blasts. This is how they're doing this for the parents. What the vote really means, really in capitals. For the first time ever, CPS is budgeting for a piece of what Springfield owes. That's what they're saying. And then they went through what happened on Monday when IFT sued the county for withholding up to $400 million in tax receipts from school districts in Cook County. And they went through the whole week. And then at the end, the governor and Illinois lawmakers owe our students $2 billion, Jeannie.
No, they don't. Don't owe them a darn thing. In fact, CPS and Chicago writ large owes the state money because they've been hiding their property wealth, which is absolutely critical to determining the evidence-based funding formula. So anytime they hide their wealth in a TIF district, for example, for which CPS gets a lot of money from, then you are changing the funding formula. You're changing the amount that you actually could afford to pay for your school systems, and that diminishes how much goes to everybody. I went over this before. Hey, look, you know what? Text in, call in, let me know. I'll do a 3-hour discussion on the evidence-based funding formula and how we're getting screwed over by Chicago. And I want to remind people, Rahm Emanuel, when that bill passed in 2017, and he was still the mayor, he said, we got everything we wanted and more. They were thrilled with it. And now they want to come back and say we owe money. BS.
They even go after Governor Pritzker real quick, saying the governor owes the state's students $6.4 billion and owes CPS $2 billion.
Liars.
Yep. All right, Free for All Friday coming up. Grab a line, 312-642-5600, Fauci Lies Edition.
Sean Fest returns on August 28th at the Westin Chicago Northwest in Itasca. Be a part of a live, on-location broadcast of The Sean Thompson Show, including a performance of the national anthem, followed by live music, food, drinks, and an opportunity to meet Sean Thompson. Registration is free. Go to 560theanswer.com/SeanFest. That's 560theanswer.com/SHAUN Fest. Sponsored in part by LeavingIL.com and by Unique Wooden Flags.
Pelosi, President Trump gathering his cabinet at Camp David for a stacked agenda, including Iran and a potential breakthrough in Gaza.
President Trump told our colleague Jackie Heinrich this morning about Iran. It's going well. All you can do is keep winning. Then eventually something will happen. But we're hitting them hard, knocking them out for a loop. He seems a lot more upbeat about this peace deal in Gaza, though, explaining the agreement will be carried out in carefully structured phases. As disarmament is completed, Israeli forces will withdraw.
Fox's Peter Ducey, an invasion in Spain as some 60,000 migrants from Morocco stormed the border.
Tens of thousands of people, mostly from Morocco, surged across the border into the Spanish territory, really without anyone stopping them. The military has now been deployed to help restore order.
As Fox's Jeff Paul, officials say about 25,000 people voluntarily returned to Morocco. America's listening to Fox News.
Now, your official weather forecast.
This afternoon, expect periods of rain and a thunderstorm with a high of 82. Tonight will be humid with more rain, possibly heavy at times, and another thunderstorm. Watch out for flash flooding with a low of 68. Tomorrow will be mostly cloudy and humid with more rain and a thunderstorm. It will be breezy in the afternoon, so make sure to have your rain gear ready for the music festival. The high will reach 72 degrees. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
Sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
Protect your family, your phone, and your furry friends with life, electronic device, and pet health insurance.
Feel like you're trying to push a boulder uphill wearing skates? If you run or manage a local business today, you're challenged like never before. We get it, and we want to help. We're Salem Surround. We're a full-service marketing agency that'll help you increase your customer base by designing incredibly effective plans to reach your consumers day, night, and everywhere they might be.
Salem Surround. Meet with a digital marketer today for ideas that will make your business stand out. Visit salemsurround.com.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou, a term provider, 800-444-9336. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-444-9336. That's 800-444-9336. For $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with, call Big Lou at 800-444-9336.
Scott Jennings fearlessly fights back against the mainstream media on the Scott Jennings podcast.
So the Democratic message for the 2026 midterm is, we don't love America. That's it. The message from the left is, as long as people that we don't like are allowed to win elections, we hate America. That's a heck of a thing to be running an election on. We hate America.
Subscribe for free today on Spotify, Apple, YouTube, or SalemPodcastNetwork.com.
For months, you've been hearing ads about Virago immune support. I have to tell you, this stuff is for real. I had an occasion to not be feeling well on a remote broadcast. I took it, and it is the real deal. And the stronger your immune system, the stronger your body defends against diseases, viruses, and everything else. That's why Dr. Huber created Virago, a liquid immune booster supplement. You take it daily. It's a blend of 23 nutraceuticals working in synergy to maximize effects and boost your immune system. It's the nutraceutical cocktail for an immune system, antiviral, anti-inflammatory, antioxidant. Virago even protects your heart, your kidneys, your liver, all in a unique liquid supplement for better absorption. Do yourself and your spouse a favor. Order a bottle of Virago today online at myvirago.com. That's myvirago.com. Use coupon code IMMUNE to save 30%. Maha and Virago, making America healthy again.
AM 560, The Answer.
What day is today? Friday. You know what that means.
Stimulate your mind, man. It's Friday.
One day I'll have Friday on my mind.
It's Friday. Shouldn't you be off with your friends, scaring old people?
It's Friday, Friday. Gotta get down on Friday.
No holds barred, free for alls.
After this Friday, the neighborhood will never be the same.
Might hit the highway on the Vegas run, fool, cause it's Friday. Oh, yeah.
Becomes a free-for-all.
It's finally Friday.
You know what happens here on Friday?
This type of free-for-all melee.
The phone lines are open. Call Jeanne and Amy now. 312-642-5600. It's time for Free for All Friday.
All right, we're calling this the Fauci Lies and COVID Lies edition of Free for All Friday. So pick up the phone, call in, give us your most outrageous thing that you saw during COVID or what you experienced. 312-642-5600. Amy, where would you like to start? There's so much to talk about.
Well, I wanted to talk about a woman who was overly exuberant about Dr. Fauci. Like she was salivating over, well, Dr. Fauci says this, and She was from University of Chicago. Her name was Dr. Emily Landon. And she, I think, won the high school drama award.
They forced my son to get the COVID shot just to complete his studies. He was halfway through his MBA at University of Chicago. Oh. They forced him to get it.
Because of her?
He had a job waiting for him. He had really no choice. The religious exemption thing wasn't working.
Right.
Nothing.
Yeah, well, she was in charge of University of Chicago health system. She was the epidemiologist. This was her Super Bowl. This was her life. Mm-hmm. And she'd sit there at a press conference. And, of course, they wore their white coats for no reason. I mean, they weren't seeing patients. They just wanted to make it official, like make sure you put your coat on. And one day she told us to get our wiggles out. She was so condescending.
We can be outside more. We can be more distant. And that allows for a little bit of an addition to the safety net, right? And so it's time for us to get our wiggles out, as I would say, or, get our act together and figure out how often we need to be washing our hands and sort of reset our social norms so that we're used to doing things like wearing our masks, washing our hands, and watching our distance.
And everybody was rolling and when she was saying get the wiggles out, she was doing this, Jeannie. She was getting the wiggles out. Are you? We are not children. But then when this happened, okay, when they decided we were on phase 4, so we were phase 4, went back down to 3, thought of going back down to 2. It was all about the numbers.
Well, there was
the positivity
There was phase 5 at first, and then they added something called a bridge.
The bridge.
Right. Yeah.
Don't forget the happy bridge, the rainbow and unicorns bridge to phase 6, which is completely back to normal. But people, don't forget, he had the orders, emergency order in place from 2020 to May of 2023. 3 years of our lives. So this is when the mask mandate was going down, and she was scolding you. Now you still be careful out there.
Therefore, the mandate ending does not mean that you're entitled to be mask-free everywhere, anytime.
Okay, Jeannie.
If you're leaving isolation early, you have to wear a mask for 6 to 10 days. If you have symptoms of COVID, you need to wear a mask. Having choice also means having responsibility.
Oh, thank you.
Suffice it to say, this isn't an end to the pandemic. And it's not going back to normal. Although I sure hope it feels better than the last couple of months.
Oh, my God.
No matter how much we wish for it, hope for it, or demand it of COVID, this is a virus and it's ruled by biology. It doesn't negotiate with us or care about how we feel about it. We have to adjust to it. And we have to take advantage of the breaks that we get.
I hope she's lost her job, honestly. She's such a blithering idiot.
And the Oscar goes to Dr. Emily Landon. But it was just crazy because during COVID, too, they said, you can't have funerals. I'm sorry, you could have Zoom funerals. Mm-hmm. But then George Floyd dies, and he got 3 funerals, one in Houston, one in Minneapolis, and one somewhere else, I think his hometown or South Carolina or something. And everybody was there. And then for the riots, everybody was outside unmasked. Well, some people were masked, right next to each other. So it's crazy. But I invited David Kolsek to come on because not only does he own Turnkey IT, but he also has Kolsek Funeral Home. And you were in the thick of all of it, David, during this COVID. And I talked to you many, many times. What were the restrictions that they tried to place on you in regards to your funeral home?
Well, good morning. Yes, it was a very difficult period of time for families and for everyone, but it was the same rules for us as everybody else. Not more than 10 people could be gathered in one place. And we had to be 6 feet apart from each other, and everybody had to wear a mask. And we tried to follow the rules as best as we could, but people wanted to get together. But one of the tragic stories was a former mayor in Wheeling died. Bill Hine was his name, and he died during the thick of all of that. And we literally put his casket in the window in the back of the funeral home and set up some makeshift intercom system so people could drive their cars, roll down their window in the middle of winter, and pay their respects. I mean, it was just comical, but it was just so sad because, it's crazy.
This was a psyops against the entire American population. That's what this whole thing was. How much will they, can we get them to, how willingly will they
conform to our
say?
Demands?
Yeah, exactly. How can we compel their behavior?
But when you're having a funeral, you want to hug people because you're grieving. You're crying. I mean, it's not fun. So did anybody ever come in to try and make sure you didn't have more than 10 people?
No, I don't remember anybody coming into the funeral home and doing it, because I think we just really complied. And again, we were afraid that we were going to, lose business license. The consequences could have been, grave for the business. So we played by the rules, even though we saw through it. We didn't see the numbers that they said, people are falling down in the streets. And, I would expect that we would have been up 30, 40% during that time period, but we weren't. So, none of us are vaccinated. All of us, kind of took our truth serum at that moment because we saw what was reality versus what was fiction that they were feeding us. And, of course, everybody thought we were crazy.
So when did things get back to normal? Was it after George Floyd that when you decided, well, if they're not going to follow the rules, we don't have to follow the rules?
I think it was when everybody stopped complying with the cards, like the people had those cards for a while.
Vaccination cards
for.
Yeah. I don't know what you're talking about.
Everybody.
I didn't have one.
Well, I didn't have one either. But bottom line was we just didn't go out to eat. If a restaurant wanted us to conform with something like that, we wouldn't go to that restaurant. And at the time, remember Tom
Sedeka. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Sedeka. Yeah. He would have those. And Jeannie, you and I went to one of those together. I remember being there with you, and we started breaking the rules, and we made a lot of people happy during those luncheons where we would all go. Somebody would pay for lunch for everybody, and then everybody would pony up $50 or whatever they had in their pocket, and the waiters that wanted to have a living were able to get a little bit of income from our what did they call it? Rebel diners.
Yep, Rebel Diners. I have my T-shirt still. It's awesome.
I do too.
That's great. Well, what was the worst part as a business owner? I mean, just the fear of. Well, here, my first question. Sorry, I'm a little scatterbrained. Was there a rise in funerals? I mean, or did it stay steady? Because they were acting like tens of thousands of people are going to die.
I would say the volume was maybe up 10% for the whole year of 2020. Okay. But if you looked at statistically, that's not really an anomaly because we've seen that in prior years. It's just, it's mortality rate and it's your market. I mean, we serve about 200 and some families a year, and it really wasn't upticked like that.
Yeah, and tell people about Kolsick Funeral Home because Jeannie, they have a bar there. Well, instead of because
that's for the Irish.
Really
that's for the Irish.
We have a liquor license.
We have a liquor license.
We have a liquor license, and if somebody wants to, we found that the trend was people were doing memorial services and they weren't even going to the funeral home anymore. So we thought, and you see in a lot of funeral home parking lots, you see tailgating going on, and so we thought, why don't we bring it in? It's not a profit maker for us. It's not forced on anybody. But if they wanted to have cocktails served wine, and it's done in a very tasteful way, and it's done very well. And if the family wants it, they'll have a bartender, and the bartender comes from Serenello's up the street, Let Us Entertain You group. They bring in the alcohol, and they set the bar up, and we have a very nice
That's my kind of wake.
And it's really nice. It's really, really done well.
Yeah, it's a beautiful funeral home, Kolsick Funeral Home.
All right.
Anything else going on, David? How's life?
Everything's good. It's exciting. It's exciting that we're hopefully seeing some justice here soon. I hope with all of the stuff that comes out, but I just want to see somebody get arrested.
Well, Dr. Fauci, wasn't it just infuriating watching him take the fifth time after time after time?
Incredible. He was so verbose, and everybody hung on every word that guy said. And for him to plead the fifth, he's just so guilty. Firing squad. That's my opinion.
All right.
He killed so many people, and he ruined so many kids' lives. So.
Yep. Sure did. All right, David, thank you so much. Appreciate your time. And
have a great day.
Yes, Turnkey IT for all your needs, small businesses.
Firing line. I kind of like that one.
Yeah. Well, he deserves it.
Yeah, that's hardcore.
And he was shaking in his boots, a little coward that he is when he was reading his opening statement. His paper was shaking. Screw him.
Bob's been holding on for a long time. Bob, let's go to you. Bob in Buffalo Grove. Welcome to the program.
Always great talking to you, Jeannie and Amy. Let me refresh you on some craziness that went on. You probably remember the lakefront was shut down by Mayor Lightfoot. I couldn't take pictures that I wanted of the skyline. Then who recalls all the plastic plexiglass screening?
Amy does.
I just sent you a picture of your studio when you had it up. Remember that, Amy?
Okay, yes. I was
Amy insisted on it.
I did, because Dan spits when he talks. So I didn't trust. I mean, Dan was rolling his eyes at me for like 3 months straight. But then I went to Utah and I was with a governor. Governor Herbert was his name. And he was complete opposite of Pritzker. He shut things down for 2 weeks and then he opened it up. You can go golfing again. You can go to the pool again. You can, just if you have a comorbidity, you're making a choice. And it's up to the people. You have your rights to your freedoms. And I thought, great. And then I came back here and I was going to all these press conferences like, this guy's an idiot. This guy doesn't know what he's doing. And then he's surrounding himself with clowns who are telling people to get the wiggles out. I mean, the whole thing was just so surreal. It's just, now I look at it like a horror movie.
Yeah. So
but yes, I took the plexiglass down. I made him put it up and I took it down. So.
And then the other one was my wife and I wanted to get out and go to a restaurant. And one of the restaurants we found, you had to show a COVID card to show you were vaccinated in order to get into the restaurant.
Yeah. And did you just leave and go home, I hope?
No, we knew we had to show the COVID card. And
a lot
I'll
of
be
people.
sending you, and shortly I'll send you Jeannie an award.
I hope you had a fake one, Bob. You had a fake COVID card. Tell me you had a fake one.
And
my husband had a fake one.
Well, a lot of kids entering Lollapalooza. All right, thanks, Bob, for the phone call. A lot of people who went to Lollapalooza that year had fake COVID cards, and they weren't even checking them. And I tweeted that out when I used to have control of my Twitter. It got 2 million views.
Lollapalooza.
2 million views of people showing.
Break.
You should see the kids walking in. And what are they selling now at Lollapalooza?
You know what my favorite is?
Wait, real quick.
Yeah.
Because Lollapalooza is right now.
Big announcement.
Yeah. What do we got?
Festival goers will have a new way to get buzzed. THC drinks. Chicago cannabis company Rhythm will serve its Senorita THC drinks to 21 plus customers at the festival.
Yeah.
Good grief.
The 13-year-olds are there are going to get, woo.
Oh, that's so ridiculous. No. Okay, my favorite thing, though, was Lori Lightfoot.
Yes.
They would not shut down the St. Patrick's Day celebrations. Until after, they wouldn't shut down anything until after the St. Patrick's Day celebrations.
No, because the primary was the next day. They had to have the primary elections. And I was at Wells Park, and the line was all the way, and people were sick and coughing. I'm looking like, this is a super spreader. But Pritzker had to get that election in, and then they shut everything down. But also, too, bars needed the money. Yeah, that's their day.
They knew.
Oh, they knew.
Ahead of that, but they didn't do it. Okay, let's go to Will in Skokie.
Good morning, ladies. How are you?
Good.
I wanted to pass along. This is something that they're not necessarily covering. When you plead the Fifth Amendment, that you're not going to testify, if you even answer one question, then that kind of nullifies you being able to plead the Fifth Amendment. So he knew if he even answered one of those questions, like, what color is the tile and stuff like that, what color is the carpet, that they could say, oh, well, you answered a question, so therefore you have to answer all the questions. I remember back when Oliver North was testifying, during the Reagan administration, they gave him immunity. And then when they asked him, questions, he goes, yeah, I did that. Yeah, I did that. Because he knew he had immunity. Fauci is kind of taking that to the extreme where he's not answering anything. Because if you answer one, you got to answer them all. So that's why he did that. It's not like, oh, gee, he's crazy for not. He knew that if he answered one, he'd have to answer them all. Okay?
Thanks a lot. Appreciate that info. And I also appreciate you reminding us so that, Colonel North did answer the questions when it came to the Iran-Contra affair.
Oh.
And so you got a lot more information about what happened inside your government. But Fauci won't do it. He's
guilty.
He's already disgraced himself, but he doesn't want to make it even worse.
Where was the left coming to his side? I mean, besides the Democratic senators who were praising him during the trial, I don't see Julia Roberts coming out or any of his Hollywood friends. His besties weren't there for him, Jeannie.
Why were they not sitting right behind him for moral support?
Like, we love you. Oh, my God, it's Dr. Fauci.
It's Dr. Fauci.
Where's Emily
him as he walks in, make a phalanx around him so that no reporter can get near him or no, scummy Republican or something. To, interfere. Where were they? Where were your friends, Fauci, when you really needed them? Yeah. Okay, let's go to Marty in Naperville.
Hello, Marty.
Hi there. 3 quick things. Number one, I never wore a mask, and if I walked in a place and somebody said, "Do you have a mask?" all you did, look them in the face and say no, and I never got tossed out of anywhere. Number two, I still have a stack of fake cards that I'll give anybody. All you got to do is put your name on them. And number three, I have a house in Florida, and the 2.5-hour flight to Tampa, that bag of pretzels, I must have broken a world's record for taking 2.5 hours to eat a bag of pretzels, and nobody ever said anything.
Of course
so.
not. Oh, that's so great.
It's funny, though. To walk into a place, and if somebody said, "Do you have a mask?" I'd say no, and just look at them and keep walking, and nobody ever said anything. So it was...
But it was weird because when we were on the bridge...
Yeah.
When we were on that bridge from 5 to 6, phase 6, and on the bridge, then one day you'd have to wear masks, and then the next day you didn't. It just depended on the positivity rate. It was so crazy. And it just became such a joke. And my sister teaches preschool, and those poor 3-year-old and 4-year-olds would chew on their mask, and they'd just be filled with saliva and food. It was just, and they'd have to sit there and then suck on their face.
The grocery store was funny, too. If you walked down the opposite way, the looks people would give you if you walked against the arrows, you know?
Oh, I still get looks in the grocery store, but I mean, like, I don't care.
But I'll say this, I could get from Chicago to Naperville at 8 o'clock in the morning in 20 minutes on a highway.
Yep.
That was great.
That was the best thing.
Gas prices.
No traffic. Loved it.
Vegas, I got a flight to Vegas on
Loved it.
American Airlines, Chicago, Vegas for $19. And I got bumped up to first, and I'm like, this is the best. And then they served you food, and I'm like, oh my God, I feel like a human being.
I was flying to Tampa, and there was 2 or 3 of us in the whole airplane.
Me too.
It was great. It was great, I thought. So.
All right. Okay, we're going to take a short break. We'll be back to take any more phone calls, 312-642-5600.
You're listening to The Real Story with Jeannie Ives and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Hi, I'm Ken Mariotti, owner of Woodland Windows and Doors, a third-generation family-owned business since 1969. We know you're bombarded by choices when shopping for new windows or doors, so we're inviting you to experience the Woodland difference. For decades, we have been transforming living spaces with Marvin Windows, a fifth-generation family business. Marvin replacement windows have been known to increase the warmth of your cold rooms by 10 degrees. Think about that, 10 degrees warmer. When you welcome Woodland into your home, you will get a product expert to transform your living spaces, full-time, dedicated professional installers that you can trust in your home, along with the best products like Marvin. These are the reasons we're proud of our 5-star reviews and family legacy. No gimmicks, no pressure, and upfront pricing are why Woodland Windows and Doors is your trusted window and door expert in Chicagoland. Visit woodlandwindows.com to book your free in-home expert consultation. That's woodlandwindows.com, or stop by our showroom at the corner of Lake and Geary in Roselle.
Hey, it's Sean Thompson. You know, one day it's market volatility. The next day it's conflict overseas. Price jumps, confidence drops, and suddenly retirement feels less certain. When the latest headline pushes costs higher and stokes inflation fears, it can have a ripple effect on your investments and your budget. But here's the thing. Retirement shouldn't depend on perfect timing or on the latest geopolitical noise. Tom Fortino and the Alpha Wealth Group help families right here in the Chicago area build a plan to create income you can't outlive, control taxes, minimize risk, protect your assets, and prepare an estate and legacy plan. It's their 5-pillar retirement planning. Ready to learn more? To get your complimentary retirement roadmap and a retirement analysis today, schedule a meeting with Tom Fortino and the people of Alpha Wealth Group by calling 630-864-6711. That number again, 630-864-6711, or online at alphawealthgroup.com.
AM 560. The Answer.
I need to kill myself now. All right, let's go to Rusty in Villa Park. I think you might be new to the show. Hey, Rusty.
No, Rusty calls again.
Oh, how are you, Rusty?
Oh, I was just calling to remind us all of Freedom Summit in Lake Geneva.
Oh, that was awesome. Yep, I remember that. Yep. Dan Proft, me, Candace Owens, Sean. It was quite the festive.
Candace Owens, man, she's falling.
If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. All right, thanks a lot. Let's go.
That's all.
You bet.
See ya.
Thanks, Rusty.
Let's go to George in Naperville.
Yes, ladies. I remember when Lori Lightfoot was being chauffeured around in a limousine, looking out her window with those bug eyes, trying to catch people who were where they weren't supposed to be during the Stop the Spread. I remember one kid was shooting hoops all by himself, and he said, "Why aren't you,
Oh, that's my favorite soundbite. She's like, "Go home to your mama." He goes, "You go home to your mama," and he said it exactly the way that she said it to him.
I'm trying to remember their Halloween costume.
Oh, she was a bottle of bleach. They were the Corona Busters, okay? And Dr. Awardi was Clorox wipes. And they were handing out candy, and I thought, oh, I think I'm going to die now. Yeah. This is just a blank show. And then that spread, that went viral. That's one of the reasons, too, where she lost.
Well, let's not forget Dr. Ezeki. She was the lead Illinois Department of Public Health during COVID-19. Remember that?
Very well.
Well, she later became the president of CEO of Sinai Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
Ethics violation. Oh, yeah, ethics violation according to the State Ethics Commission, and she agreed to pay a fine of $150,000. These are the types of people who are unethical that were making decisions on your life during COVID. Let's not forget.
Quickly, let's take Dave. Hey, Dave, you're on The Real Story.
I was going to tell you the story. I'm a retired police officer from a large metropolitan city that rhymes with Chicago. And every time I would go to the hospital, I would always lift something, whether it was Band-Aids or something. So when we were told if we didn't get the shot, we were going to be suspended, we all started going. So I had to do it. And I was in the hospital sitting there, and the nurse said, "Let me be right back." And he walked out. He left me alone there for like 10 minutes.
Quickly.
I'm looking around for what can I pick up? And there was a whole stack of those cards.
COVID cards.
And it was the one time I went to the hospital and didn't lift something.
All right. Thanks, David, for your phone call. Have a great weekend. See you back on Monday.
If you owe the IRS back taxes, you need the best team on your side. Priority Tax Relief has helped thousands of Americans resolve their IRS problems and settle for pennies